The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by former guest of the show and Matt Landowski and Sweet Hand Sports. Our mission at Sweet Hand Sports is to gear you up for greatness. With our top tier gloves, you are set to grip, win, and dominate. Grip your victory and leave your mark on the game. Sweet Hand Sports brings you batting gloves and now golf gloves that are designed to be durable and breathable. Go to sweethandsports.com, use the promo code BONO10 and save yourself 10%. Grip your victory at Sweet Hand Sports. Once again, sweethandsports.com, promo code BONO10 to save yourself 10%. The Ride Home Rants podcast is also brought to you by Buddy's Beard Care. Buddy's Beard Care provides premium men's grooming product at an affordable price. Products are made in Ohio, and Buddy's Beard Care supports local. The majority of their suppliers are from other Ohio-based companies. You can find them on social media at Buddy's Beard Care or online at buddysbeardcare.com. He has sent me a complimentary bottle of their beard balm. My beard has never felt softer. It has never been more tamed and has never grown faster or looked healthier. I've been using these products for a little while now, and I love every minute of it. Once again, buddysbeardcare.com. Use the promo code Mike Bono and save yourself 15%. Next, we are brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood. The Tactical Brotherhood is a movement to support America. We believe that there is a gap in focus when it comes to companies that support America. We want to be the front lines of supporting Americans and are determined to find something worth being proud of in every aspect of our military, starting with the men and women who serve and protect us. Our mission is simple: to unite like-minded individuals by celebrating what makes each one of us unique Americans. You don't have to be a veteran to join us. You just have to love America. Go to tacticalbrotherhood.com, use the promo code Mike Bono, and save yourself 10%. Once again, the tacticalbrotherhood.com, promo code Mike Bono, save yourself 10%. Next, we are brought to you by Deemed Fit, a clothing company brought to you by first responders for first responders. They are a clothing apparel company that helps those who have worked through the COVID-19 pandemic and also for all the first responders with their mental and physical health. Deemed Fit donates 100% of their net profits from the Never Forget collection sales to the Tunnel of Towers Foundation to support those from 9/11. Once again, go to deemedfit.com. Check out all of their great products. All of them have great messages. They fit and look great. Use the promo code Mike Bono and save yourself 10%. By supporting Deemed Fit through your own purchase, gifts bought for your friends, family, and colleagues, or by becoming one of our brand ambassadors, you become part of the Deemed Fit family. Don't miss out on this great way to help and support everyone who has helped and supported our country. Deemedfit.co, promo code Mike Bono, and save yourself 10%. Next, we have Shankit Golf. Shankit Golf is golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We're not going to go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but we are going to give you the gear to help you rock it on and off of the course. Our goal here at Shankit Golf is for everyone to have a great time on and off of the course, and we're going to help you look great while doing it. Go to shankitgolf.com, use the promo code Mike Bono, and save yourself 10%. Once again, shankitgolf.com, promo code Mike Bono, and save yourself 10%. Lastly, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Web Western. Web Western is for those who roll up their sleeves and do what it takes to get the job done. The arrow serves as a constant reminder to be a straight shooter, no excuses, no bullshit, just honest hard work. It's a brand that reflects the passion within us to lend a hand when it is needed, fight to protect our God-given rights, and live life like there is no tomorrow. Be a straight shooter. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I got a great and somewhat annual episode for us here this evening. We are going to be talking about the NBA Finals with the Spurs and the Knicks heading off for the second time in a while, but I got a panel of guests that we're going to talk about all things NBA Finals and get our predictions like we always do here. I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. So, gentlemen, I need your name and the answer to these two questions. What is your favorite lunch meat to eat? And what is better, potato salad or pasta salad? And Stoy, we're going to start with you.
What's going on? Bill Story here. Excited to be back on the pod, talk some basketball. Favorite lunch meat? We'll go with turkey. It's the one that I eat the most. And macaroni salad, we'll say.
Okay. JJ, what about you?
As JJ here. Favorite lunch meat, I'm gonna go rotisserie chicken lunch meat, buffalo style,
Ooh.
and then definitely macaroni salad over potato salad.
Okay. And Mike, let's go to you next.
Mike Worrell out here in Illinois. I was a bologna guy for about 50 years when I'm honey turkey with some Swiss cheese on it. And I'm always a potato salad guy.
I got you. Spitty, let's go to you next.
Everybody knows me, Svitty. I actually like roast beef, big roast beef fan. And I actually love potato salad. Potato salad is my number one favorite. Shout out Menor Family Foods in Menor, Ohio. Best homemade potato salad ever.
Okay. All right. So me, Mike Bono, big bologna guy. I got to say, nothing better than a bologna sandwich for me. And it's pasta salad all day for me. Not a big potato salad guy, but pasta salad I can eat every day, all day. But we're not here to talk about lunch meats or pasta or potato salad, but we're here to talk about the NBA Finals. JJ, we're going to start with you on this one. We said in the intro, the Spurs and the Knicks are colliding for the second time in the NBA Finals history and the first time since 1999. What were you doing in 1999, the first time they played?
99, I was getting ready to graduate high school. So that's what I was getting ready to do. Probably getting ready to party it up on the weekend, something like that.
Pity, let's go to you next.
In 1999, I would have been 13 years old in seventh grade, still playing soccer at the YMCA, and living life as a 13-year-old watching WWF wrestling.
Gotcha. Stoy, let's go to you next.
Man, you're dating a little bit on me. I'd have been 3 or 4 years old.
God,
Probably
young
down
buck.
to 3 at this point in the year. So I don't know what I would have been doing. Probably hanging out doing what 3-year-olds do. But
For three.
yeah, a little dating me on that one. Probably hanging out, trying to find something to get into and be rowdy.
Gotcha. Mike, let's go to you next.
1999, I was in my third year as head basketball coach at Illinois College. We had a pretty good year that year. I was named Midwest Conference Coach of the Year in 99. And my third and last child was born in the summer of 1999.
Okay. A bit busy 1999 for the goat there. Me, I was just turning 11 years old. So, yeah, kind of like Fitty, probably watching some WWF at the time. But yeah, not doing much of anything. Whatever 11-year-olds did in the 90s. Who knows what the hell we were doing then. Mike, let's stay with you on this one here. Who is more important to their team in this finals? Wemby for the Spurs or Brunson for the Knicks?
That's a hard question. I think they're both equally important because obviously they're both asked to score. Number one, they're the leading scorers for both teams. I think Wemby can influence a game maybe a little more than Brunson, even though I think Brunson's a great player. And there were times where Wemby was in foul trouble or sitting out, resting, load management, they call it. And the Spurs struggled at times without him. I think they got to have him. And although Brunson's a great scorer and leader, I think they have some other guys that could step up and score if he's not on the court or if something happens, he's having an off night. But I say they're both equally important to their success.
Okay. Stoy, what about you?
Good question. I'll start by saying Brunson tore out my calves, and I wish I was sitting here talking a little more about them. But I think it got to be Wemby here. I think he's an alien, a freak, kind of whatever you want to call him. I think he's that special of a player, and like I'm sure the Knicks coaches and everyone's trying to put together any type of game plan to do something to him right now. So I'll say him, both wonderful players, and Brunson's the dog, no doubt. But I think Wemby's just a little bit different and have to do some special things to slow him down. So I'll say he's probably the most important and impact for the game for sure.
Okay. Biddy, what about you? You got Wemby or Brunson?
I'm going to say it's probably Wemby because Wemby influences the game defensively different than Brunson. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, I'm a big Knicks fan, right? Brunson is probably more of an offensive threat, but Wemby is a better defensive threat. I mean, he did lead the NBA like I think 3 years in a row in blocks. He is the reigning defensive player, in the NBA because of his freakish size and things like that. He really creates mismatches. So I would say he's more important because if Wemby goes down, the other guys for the Spurs are just average. Brunson goes down, the Knicks still have, 4 other guys who can do some pretty good things and a good bench. So Wemby's more important. The Spurs will go as Wemby goes.
I got you. JJ, what about you?
I feel like in this series that I think Brunson's more important to the Knicks than Wemby is for the Spurs because the Knicks are going to need Brunson to score a lot every night if they want to hang with the Spurs at all. Like Wemby, their guards on that team, they're deep. They have a lot of different players who can score like 15 apiece. We got Fox who just came back and played a big part in their Game 7 win. So I think Brunson's more important in this series to his team than Wemby is to the Spurs.
I got you. Kind of with Fiddy on this one, with lining with Wemby is more defensive player with his size, defensive player of the year. I think he's more important to the Spurs because they didn't do much when he wasn't in the game. And you got a guy over 7 foot that can shoot threes too as well. Like that's just how do you defend that? But yeah, I think Wemby is definitely more important for the Spurs' success than Brunson is for the Knicks. But JJ, after last season in a 6-game series that ended in defeat in the Eastern Conference Finals for the Knicks, fired their head coach Tom Thibodeau and replaced him with Mike Brown, who has the Knicks 4 wins away from a title. How much of the Knicks' success this year do you put on the coach with Tibbs and what they built there to be the Knicks?
Some of it does have to do with the coaching change. He's more of a player's coach, and he's not as hard, doesn't run the guys into the ground as much. But the foundation was definitely set by Tibbs. But he just kind of lightened it up and let them guys play a little looser or whatever. But I feel like the Knicks kind of got an easier path to the finals. Like I don't feel like they were really super battle tested. Like they had the one series where it shouldn't even have went as far as it did. So I mean, we're gonna see what happens.
Okay, Fiddy, what about you?
I would say a lot of it is because of Tibbs. Me and Mike called him the ogre just because of the way he looked. But a lot of it's Tibbs, right? Because Tibbs was there. He made Josh Hart the player Josh Hart is right now. Like one of the most versatile players in the NBA. That wasn't because of anybody else. That was because of Tibbs. He was there for OG Anunoby coming in, right? He was there for Mitchell Robinson becoming the beast that he was. He was there for Brunson. Without Tibbs, the Knicks aren't in this situation. And the one thing I would say is, yeah, he was tough on those guys, but he was tough. Then they became tough. You think about last year, they went into that Celtics matchup. I'll tell you about it. Come on. And just annihilated the Celtics, right? Because physically annihilated them, even with Tatum, right? Because that was all Tibbs. That wasn't anything else. So to put them in the situation they are now, I would say it's Mike Brown is reaping the benefits of the ogre and what he built there with the starting 5.
Do you think that they look like they got a little more spring in their step, pep in their step this deep in the playoffs now than they would have previous years?
I think so, but here's what I would also say to your point too, JJ, right? Like you played a Hawks team who was, okay, a Cavs team that is probably tougher than they were a couple years ago when the Knicks literally beat them over the head with a shovel in the first round. And you played you just had an easier path, right? You played a lot of soft physical teams where last year the Knicks had to go through, or the past couple years, they had to go through Indiana twice with a healthy Halliburton. You had to go through the Heat with Jimmy Butler. You had to go through the Celtics at full strength. And then you ran into also a very talented 76ers team and a very talented Pistons team. And we've seen what they all did now. Mm-hmm. So the Ogre and those Knicks teams, I think, really were battle tested the past few years. And you are right. The Knicks had a way easier path this year to the finals than what Tibbs did those other 2 years. So I think a lot of it, though, is based off Tibbs. I mean, he got those guys in New York playing at a physical, tough level. And that's my rant.
All right. Stoy, what about you?
I see where both you guys are coming from, and I think there's bits and pieces that are true of both. I think for Fitty, Tibbs created that team, created the culture and the toughness there, but the guy who creates that team isn't always the one that gets you over the hump for the championship. And, we'll see if they do it this year, but I think the change, like JJ was saying, and they're looking fresh now. And kind of that's, the big dig on Tibbs. I think he's tough on his players, tough on the team. And, at the end of the day, first, second round wasn't, even in the third round's not enough for what New York needs and what they want with the championship now. So I think Mike Brown's the guy that got him looking fresh now, got him in the championship and a chance to go win it all. So I think Tibbs built it, but Mike Brown's probably the better guy to, get them where they need to go and where they want to go at the championship.
I got you. I'll give you my thoughts on that after we get here from Mike. But Mike, what about you?
I agree with everybody about this. I'm going to go back to my normal thing that I usually talk about with coaches. I mean, Mike Brown obviously knows what he's doing. The Ogre did as well. But the Knicks haven't missed a shot. I think Mike Brown's in shock himself. They haven't missed a shot since March. Mikal Bridges couldn't make a shot for 5 months. He's missed like 2 shots the last 2 months. McBride and Shamet come off the bench. They're like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry right now. Steph Curry shooting lights out coming off the bench. The Knicks, quite bluntly, they're playing out of their minds right now. And, being a Cavs guy, I'm only going to say this once. I hate to rehash game one where the Cavs could never recover from that game one, or that series could have been a 6 or 7 game series. The Knicks have players. Their starting five is as good as anybody in the NBA. And then you throw in Shamet, McBride, some bench players. They're playing out of their minds and making almost every shot. They've become a dangerous team since like mid-March. They were third in the East. The Cavs are right behind them in fourth. It's not like the Knicks have dominated all year. Just when March hit, I don't know what happened. I use the term playing out of their minds. They have some guys that haven't missed a shot in a long time, it seems like. But I do want to say Mitchell Robinson could be hurt. And maybe, I don't know if he's out for the series. That's a major, major loss for the Knicks.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I'm gonna jump in and say too, and Mike said this last year, even though we didn't do the show last year, and I believe it. A lot of it's faith, right? Because if the Cavs don't choke away that game on some crazy shots and Shamet's crazy 3-pointer to tie the game, just like Halliburton hit that wild shot to devastate the Knicks in their game one collapse last year, the Knicks are probably in the finals last year, and the Ogre probably is still coaching them. But as Mike has always said, sometimes just fate occurs and you play out of your mind and things fall your way. And we see how things fell for the Pacers, when things don't fall their way, right? So just something to chew on there too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I agree with you. Tibbs kind of built that team and the culture around it. And Mike Brown's just the guy that's going to get them across the finish line with what he's built there with the toughness. And I'm interested to see what they do now after sweeping the Cavs and having all that time off waiting for the West to be decided and getting the rest. But that could also hurt a team, getting too much rest. And now you're losing all your momentum that you just built up with the big win over the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, like Mike was saying, they haven't. I've seen all the highlights. I don't think they've missed a shot and that they've put up in a month and a half now, and it's just that's just something that it's going to be tough to beat. I'm interested to see what the Spurs can do to kind of slow them down, if at all, with just how hot they've been. And I'm hoping the time off doesn't be the factor in that, because I want to see two teams playing as hot as they possibly can to see who can actually come out on top on that one.
Bono, to put this in perspective, put Fitty and I in a Knicks uniform. We could come off the bench right now and Brunson kick it to us. We'd hit a big shot for him. That's what happened with the Bulls in those heydays, those glory years. Guys that you didn't hear of would hit big shots off the bench and win games for him.
Yeah.
Coach.
Paxton.
Paxton. But all right, JJ, let's go back to you. In 3 years, Wemby has been a 2-time All-Star, a 1-time All-NBA first team, 2026 Defensive Player of the Year, 3 consecutive years of leading the NBA in blocks, 2024 NBA Rookie of the Year, and a 2-time All-Defensive Team, and now the MVP runner-up, and is knocking on the door of an NBA title. So, 2 parts to this. Is Wemby the new face of the NBA, and is his career trajectory that of being higher than LeBron, Jordan, and Magic?
All right. He is, I'm not going to say he's the face of the NBA right now. And another thing on the side note, he should have been MVP this year. He should have been MVP this year. But that's a whole nother topic. But also, he has the potential to be greater than Magic, Bird, but not LeBron James, of course. We know that's just not happening. So he could be the second most hyped player ever to live up to it, but he doesn't have to start winning championships right now. But I mean, since he's in the position to do so, why not win one this series? And they're in a great position to do it. And honestly, I think they're going to do it. So he by next year, if he keeps this up, he'll be the face of the NBA. But right now is his moment. He's almost there, but I feel like he's just not quite there yet.
I got you. Fitty, what about you?
I think he is the new face of the NBA with the international players. I mean, I've said this before on shows, right? Yeah. There's no American player in the top probably 6 in the NBA that you could say anyone's going to pick, right? Jason Tatum's a has-been. He's forgotten about. There's nobody in the NBA picking Jason Tatum over SGA, Greek Freak, Luka, Wemby, and who else am I forgetting? And the Joker, right? You could throw some other guys in there too.
I'm taking Anthony Edwards over Luka.
You can make an argument, okay? So I would say when you look at Wemby, he's the new face of the NBA along with like Luka. Now, whether you say he's good or not, he's playing in LA. He's surpassed LeBron, right? It's not LeBron's team, it's Luka's team.
Yeah.
When you look at SBA, an NBA player who's American has not won an MVP since I think 2018. You're going on almost 10 years since an American player won an MVP. So Wemby is the new face of the NBA with the international players. I think Wemby is right now, he came in as the next LeBron James hype-wise. Wemby's probably going to go down to this trajectory of being the greatest defensive player of all time, greater than probably Bill Russell, Shaq, anything like that. If Wemby can win a couple MVPs, right? He's only 22 years old, right? A couple MVPs, he wins a title right now, and he can have a 20-year career based on his defensive presence. He's going to probably be the greatest player in NBA history because he's probably the greatest freakish athlete since Wilt Chamberlain played in the NBA. I mean, everybody knows Wilt's, career in the NBA and in what he did outside of that in sports and weightlifting. So I would say, yeah, Wemby has the potential to surpass all those guys, but Wemby is the new international face of the NBA with the international players.
I got you. Stoy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, maybe prisoner of the moment, but I think he's in general, overall face of the NBA. And I think we're going to see that with the NBA really, really leaning into him over the next year, especially if they win this championship. I think he's just such a unique individual, just, looks wise, his talent, both sides of the ball, and like what he's doing at such a young age. So if he wins the championship, I think the NBA is really going to kind of latch on to him. You'll see a lot of commercials and everything else kind of with him attached to it. And I think he's the new face of the NBA. And that could change by year with SGA and Luke and some other guys that are right there. But I think he will be the face of the NBA, and I think he'll live up to the hype. And I think I'm with Fitty. I think he can be one of the greats and right next to LeBron, Jordan, if he can stay healthy. I think with the body type 7'3" and everything he's able to do, injuries are definitely something that can kind of creep up on a guy like that. So if he can stay healthy and not have, big extended, injuries that kind of start plaguing him over his career, I think he can. It's hyperbolic, obviously. Guys that have done it, there's been plenty of people that, maybe have been on the trajectory, but I believe in him. He's been crazy impressive, and I think someone that we've just never seen before. So I'll say yes to both, and we'll see if he can live up to it.
I got you. You kind of took what I was going to say there, Stoy, with his freakish height and everything like that. 7'3". If he can last as long, the 20-year careers that these guys are having. I know at 6'5" how my knees feel at 37 years old. Like I can only imagine 7'3" what he feels like, and it's just if his body will allow him to play that long, I think he can be both of those, the face of the NBA and have a higher trajectory than those three guys. But Mike, the GOAT, let's talk about what do you got on that one?
I watch First Take on ESPN a lot, and my favorite NBA analyst is Kendrick Perkins. he said that it's Wemby's world, and we're all just living in it right now. That Adam Silver and the NBA want him to be the face of the NBA. And Perkins really said it came to fruition during their series with Minnesota when he threw the elbow, and Perkins and everybody thought he should have been suspended the following game, which he wasn't. They could have lost the series if he had to sit out that next game. But so I'm going to agree with Kendrick Perkins. It's already Wemby's world, and everybody else is just living in
it. Got you on that one. For sure. It's kind of hard to go against Big Perk, for sure, with what he's saying. But, Mike, let's stay with you on this one here.
Well, hey, Bono, real quick, too, I want to just point this out, right, because we all remember this. You got to think, like, LeBron's been in the league, like, 22 years. So his medical treatment, right, was better than, like, Birds and Magics, right, and those guys.
Right.
But now you're talking Wemby's in the league 20 years after LeBron came in, so medical treatment is now actually advancing, and the load management's better. And then you also got to think, even with his size, right? He's not going down in the post and fighting Karl Malone and David Robinson and, guys like that. My man's coming down court and shooting threes. He's not getting the hell beat out of him by, Shaquille O'Neal and, Dennis Rodman down there either. So his body's not taking as bad of a beating either, since the NBA is such a, finesse game now compared to the old days when guys would go down there and, rip your arms off.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still like his size and how long he is and all that. I mean, his joints. I mean, it just wears on you, your knees, your ankles, and all that.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
I just get kind of like a Yao Ming kind of thing just pops in my head when I think about it.
For sure. Well, you got to think too. I mean, if he's only playing 65 games a year, shooting threes, right? I mean, it's going to take a beating, but it's a little different than playing 82 games and Karl Malone's
elbowing you.
Karl Malone's taking your head off when you're coming down into the paint. Yeah. I meant more of his joints and everything, but just how tall he is and the beating that that they take being that big, for sure. But Mike, let's go with you on this one here. Is Josh Hart the X factor for the Knicks in this series, or is it someone else?
As I always tell Fitty, he agrees. Josh Hart's a warrior. If I was starting a team from scratch, he'd be one of my top 2 or 3 picks. Maybe to come off the bench if I had my choice of picking players, but he'd definitely be on the team. He's a winner. I couldn't understand for 4 or 5 years there, he'd go from one team to the next, kind of like a journeyman when he started off. And I didn't understand it, but he's a winner. And the Spurs have a couple guys. Everybody thinks Wemby's a one-man gang, but they have some players.
Yeah.
Term I use a lot now. The Spurs have some mercenaries on defense. They have a lot of big players, big guards. Excuse me. A lot of different guys guard at SGA. They have 2, 3, maybe 4 different guys they can put on Brunson. All those guys who they say are role players could be an X factor. But Josh Hart's my ultimate warrior X factor role player, as they say.
I got you. Stoy, what about you?
We talking specifically Knicks here, right, Bono?
Yeah.
If we're going just Knicks X Factor, Mike mentioned him earlier, Mitchell Robinson. I think I just looked up here. He says he's supposed to play. I think he's going to be super important. And you saw, looking back to the Oklahoma City series, having a body to throw at Wemby, big body. I think he's 7'1", to throw at him and try and hopefully force some fouls on him. Get him a little bit frustrated and getting his head a little bit. I think Mitchell Robinson's kind of that guy. So we'll say him as the X factor. I think you should see some good minutes if he's healthy, and going to need to do everything you can in the paint defensively on Wemby and on some of the other, people driving into the, De'Aaron Fox and Castle and them driving into the hole. So I'll say Mitchell Robinson, if he's playing, is a big factor.
I agree with you. I didn't think he was playing, but if he's playing, he's no doubt up there. He's one of the best offensive rebounders I've ever seen. So I agree with you.
I think so. I just look. It says he's planning on playing, so we'll see if he doesn't play. Yeah, Hart's a good option there.
I got you. Trini, what do you and Pickles have to say? Because I keep seeing Pickles' head pop up on the screen, and I didn't realize that she was there the whole time, and I just kept seeing this shadow, and I was like, oh, it's just shadow. And I was like, oh, no, it's Pickles. So what do you and Pickles have to say about Josh Hart here?
Pickles is a big Josh Hart fan. I like to say he's a Mike Worrell warrior. Mike Worrell's #1 draft pick. Josh Hart is the type of guy, he's never going to be all NBA, right? He's the poor man's version of Jason Tatum, but Josh Hart will give you 12 rebounds, 7 assists, and 8 points a game as a 6'4" guard. You can't really go wrong with that, right? He can run the point as the point forward. He can go match up as your number 5 and bang with the big guys in the post. I think anybody that's watched him over the years, I think he's the toughest Knicks player, right? He pulled his oblique, played in that game 7 2 years ago against the Pacers. I believe that was last year when he got his eye busted wide open, got all those stitches bandaged up, came back in. I think he is the X factor because, he can give you a double-double easy as a 6'4" guard with rebounds, right? Mitchell Robinson is vastly important to the Knicks, but Mitchell Robinson only plays 14 minutes a game. Josh Hart can go play 40 consecutive or 48 consecutive minutes with no stopping, guarding your 1 through 5. So I think the Knicks only go as far as the heart of the team, which goes through Josh Hart.
I got you. JJ, what about you?
I'm going with Karl Anthony Towns just because he has to make Wemby work on the defensive side of the ball. He has to draw him out from it, just him standing in the paint so the other guards can get penetration and get to the rim. So he's going to be having to hit his jumper, hit his shot. He's going to have to be a force on the offensive side of the ball to make Wemby work and possibly get him in some foul trouble.
I got you. I got to agree. I think Josh Hart is the X factor for the Knicks in this series. Just like what everyone has been saying. I'm not going to beat a dead horse into the ground here, but I think he is definitely the X factor here. And JJ, going to you here, who are you more surprised with as a head coach with being in the finals? Is it Mike Brown or is it Mitch Johnson?
Mitch Johnson. Mike Brown, I mean, the team was already set, so I'm not surprised that they made it there. Like with all the young players they're playing with down in San Antonio, I mean, they got one of the youngest rosters. I mean, and everybody thought that their experience was going to play a factor in them not making it to the finals, and they just proved everybody wrong. So Yeah, I'm more surprised with Spurs.
Gotcha. Fitty, what about you?
It's tough, right? Like Mitch Johnson stepped in to replace Pop. Now, whether you like Pop or not, he's one of the top 5 greatest coaches ever, right? Based on his resume. So to come in, that's really hard to replace someone who's been there, 30 years and have success. But he had the pieces to do it. So yes, it's surprising, but no, it's not, because the Spurs have a huge culture of success, right? They're like the Heat, right? Just year after year, you expect them to be good. The Knicks, Mike Brown's a 4-time head coach. He's been fired from every single job he's been at, fired from the Cavs multiple times, right? And he came into a pressure cooker job where Tibbs gets fired after game 6 and Dolan says, this is championship or bust, for our roster. So things fell the right way, to JJ's point, like earlier for the Knicks. And I said it as a fan, that Mike Brown made it this far. But I would say I'm probably more surprised just at Mitch, because he's done it in full year 1, with a very young roster. So I would give the edge to him.
Gotcha. Stoy, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's Mitch Johnson. I think, for what these guys said, the Knicks were right there. And I think obviously tough to get over the hump and get there, but the roster's been there. And I think, that it was the expectation. So I think when you look at the Spurs and, coming into the year for Mitch Johnson, I think this is, a crazy step for them. And not too many people had them pegging the championship here. I think I was on the NBA preview show, and I don't remember anyone picking them to be there. So we'll say he, without a doubt, the biggest surprise to get his squad there, and got him playing darn well too.
Pretty sure Fitty picked him to be there as a Knicks fan, if I remember correctly. There's Stoy. But Mike, what about you?
I'd say Coach Johnson, because of his youth and inexperience, but he seems to be pretty poised, kind of like the Celtics coach that they have, Missoula. I think looks like their players enjoy playing for him. He looks like he relates to them really well. And, he learned a lot under Popovich. And just some FYI, Popovich was an NCAA Division III coach to start his career. And if you go by record-wise, not a very successful D3 coach. But then he had David Robinson, Ginobili, Parker, players like that. That makes the guy look good, is what I'm saying. But I'd say Mitch Johnson is a surprise, but he, obviously he's a good coach and knows what he's doing.
I got
Mike,
you.
I sent you a text earlier, and I sent it to Bono and Stoy and JJ, and he's the only one that responded. It was a video on Instagram of the Admiral David Robinson with how shredded he was in his prime. And it said, imagine Chet Holmgren trying to guard this dude.
No chance. No chance.
And I'm pretty sure David Robinson would have ripped off Chet Holmgren's entire upper torso and threw it into the stands.
Yeah.
Chet would have checked himself out of the game.
Yeah. Holmgren's career could be over after that series. Wemby might have just.
Wemby took his heart.
Yeah,
took his heart right out of him.
Exactly. And if you think Wemby took his heart, imagine what David Robinson would take.
Yeah.
He would take his soul.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Absolutely. I didn't even see that come through, Fitty, honestly. It was such a crazy day. I didn't even see that pop through.
You gotta look it up. You and Stoy gotta look it up. I sent it to you guys. But it's just David Robinson just giving it to people. And it just said imagine, and it just shows him flexing, and it said imagine Chet Holmgren trying to guard this guy. And it showed Chet Holmgren, who just has no muscle definition or tone in his entire body.
Nothing.
Gotcha. But we're gonna keep this moving here, Mike. We're gonna stay with you. Who wins this series and in how many games?
This is tough. It's a flip a coin for me. I'm going to say the Spurs in 7. The Knicks have a lot of good, experienced players, and I think they're prime for this. They're playing out of their minds. I know I've said 3 or 4 times before. The Spurs, these are 2 good rebounding teams. Like, I know people watch scoring a lot, and they're both good defensively. The Spurs have their starting lineup, I think four perimeter guys that can guard Brunson. And, they have not just Wemby that can score. Castle's very good, although he turns the ball over a lot. Vassell's a good player. The Champagny, nobody hardly talks about. On certain nights, he lights it up from three, and he's a great rebounding big guard wing. And, Fox is a veteran. And two guys off the bench, just Harper and Keldon Johnson are warriors. They rebound. They offensive rebound. And the Knicks are a good rebounding team. You throw Hart, OG, and Anunoby. Towns usually gets double-digit rebounds. I'm looking forward to watch the battle on the boards in this game. I think it's two outstanding rebounding teams. Somebody mentioned Towns before as an X factor. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. There's times during the year in the playoffs he's done a little better, but he's been known to get in early foul trouble with some not so smart fouls. And if Robinson's questionable or up in the air, like, Towns can't afford to get in foul trouble. But I know I've rambled on, but I guess because the Spurs have the home court, I'm going to say Spurs in 7.
I got you. Stoy, what about you?
I think we're in for a great series as well. I think got two hot teams, and look at the Knicks. You kind of get the little bit of the, team of fate, team of destiny type thing. The city's kind of bought in and believe in, and, in the finals for, first time in a while. Red hot, like Mike said, haven't missed a shot in a few months, some of them. So I think they make it a series, but I think San Antonio is just going to be too much. Wemby is just different. Mike kind of mentioned some of the length they have in their guards. I feel like they run pretty deep. A lot of guys that can guard Brunson, a lot of guys that can, get on the perimeter and, guard some threes. And, I think Wemby's the difference in the end on the defensive end and just makes them uncomfortable enough that they get it done in 6 in New York, put the dagger in New York's heart. And Spurs get it done there.
Gotcha. Biddy, what about you?
As a Knicks fan, I'll say Knicks in 7. But looking at NBA in totality, it's the Spurs in 6. Wemby will be unstoppable.
Gotcha. JJ, what about you?
I'm going to have to go Spurs and probably 7. I want the Knicks to win, but I just feel like the Spurs have too many people they can throw at Brunson and just keep him flustered. And then, Wemby's just, he's a freak athlete, man. So, it's going to be hard to slow him down. So but the Knicks are going to fight. They're going to, it's going to be crazy. So it's definitely going to go 7, I think. So Spurs in 7.
Gotcha. I got with Stoy and Fitty, Spurs in 6. I just think Wemby takes over, just puts a dagger into them in New York, and I think the rest hurts the Knicks. I think that the sweep of the Cavs, now they're losing that momentum with this break and getting time to rest, and I think the Spurs put it to them. I think you were going to say something there, Mike. What's up?
Yeah, Fitty, if the Knicks can split the first 2 games in San Antonio, you know what Madison Square Garden's going to be like in Game 3 there? With Spike Lee on the front row and the organ music going and Clyde Frazier sitting in his suit on the front row and Ben Stiller. You know what it's going to be like in Game 3 there?
It'll be electric.
Yeah.
Even the rats in the rafters will be partying.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. JJ, we're going to stay with you for this one. Who wins MVP?
Ooh. Well, if the Spurs win, it's going to be Wemby. If the Knicks win, I still feel like it's going to have to be Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to have a huge series if they win. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Fitty, what about you?
It's going to be Wemby 100% if the Spurs win. It still might be Wemby if the Spurs even lose. Wouldn't that be crazy? But if the Knicks win in 7, and I'm going to throw this out, and it's going to be like a flashback of Andre Iguodala, Josh Hart will win the Finals MVP because it will be his defensive pressure on those guys and averaging like a 13-point, 11 rebounds, 6 assist line because he's going to have to be the guy. But if we're going on prediction of the Spurs, it's going to be Wemby. for sure. But it'd be great to have Josh Hart pull and Andre Iguodala and win it if the Knicks win.
Andre Iguodala won an MVP. When did that happen? I don't recall that.
In two,
I'm just joking.
Oh,
joking.
Come on, JJ.
I try to forget that.
I got you. Stoy, what about you?
I gotta say, first off, Eddie, the rats in the rafters better have a lot of money because I've seen some ticket prices, man, and I don't know about any rats up in the rafters. I think it's gonna be some business owners, doctors, and lawyers still sitting up there. But
no, like the rafters, Stoy, like where they hang the banners. It's gonna be them like gigantic, like 3-foot rats that would eat my dog, like up there. Just
those New York rats.
Yeah, those mutated, Master Splinter Ninja Turtle rats up there.
Fair enough. Get back to MVP. I think, with my prediction with the Spurs, it'll be Wemby. And I think on the Knicks side, if they pull it off, I think Brunson is going to have to be special, put up a lot of 30-point games, maybe 3, 4, 5 of them to get this thing done. So I think it'll be Brunson if the Knicks figure it out. But Wemby is my official pick with the Spurs getting it done.
Gotcha. Mike, what about you?
I agree with most everybody. Wemby, if the Spurs win, I'm with Fitty, like a dark horse. If the Knicks can pull it out, it could be Hart or Towns, and maybe it might not be Brunson in this series. So that's who I go with. And I just have a couple questions. Am I the only guy that loves the Knicks organ music?
No, it's great. I like it.
Go berserk and chant defense. I mean, I'm not a Knicks fan. I don't like the Knicks, but their organs are second to none. The organ music.
Yeah, that place is going to be going crazy. It's going to be. It's going to be.
I think Game 3 is going to be electric and crazy, regardless if it's 1-1 or 2-0.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That place is going to be just off the chain. The roof might come off of that place, being in the NBA Finals.
My favorite organ song is when they play Sir Duke. They've done that for years. Stevie Wonder, Sir Duke.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm the only one in the group that pays that much attention to the organ.
You might be. I know Fitty might be up there with you, but yeah.
I don't think any of us ever actually knew they played. And I even said as a Knicks fan, like I never paid attention to the organ music till a couple years ago when you were talking about this on an NBA preview show, and you said the Knicks organ music. And ever since then, I've noticed it. I'm like, wow, they are the only NBA team that plays the organ.
Benny and the Jets is good too. Elton John, they'll play that 2 or 3 times. My second question was: is Fitty wearing a Westminster College 3-on-3 basketball tournament shirt?
He might.
I am. You know what? In 2015, me and former guests of the show, Taco Bob Balone and Drew McLaughlin, went and played in a 3-on-3 tournament at Westminster. Okay. Now I was they were 21. I think I was 29. We played 2 college teams. We went undefeated in the round robin. We went 3-0, got the number 1 seed into the tournament, and took 3rd overall. If Bob doesn't hurt his back, we win that. We beat the basketball team from Hiram and one of the basketball teams from Westminster. I had a whopping total in 5 games. In 5 games, I had 12 points, but I had 47 rebounds and about 39 fouls. But you know what? We got the job done. So yes, Mike, in honor of that, that's why I'm wearing this.
You were like Josh Hart for your team.
I was the Josh Hart of my team. And I like to think my passes in 3-on-3 were a little bit of John Stockton.
Oh man, we have went off the rails here with one more question left here with Fitty's 3-on-3 basketball from Westminster from back in the day. We're gonna make this one quick here because, like I said, we are running down here near the end. JJ, we're gonna start with you. Who's your 2027 NBA's Finals preview?
2027 Finals. I am going to go with whatever team LeBron James is on versus. I think Boston makes it back. So
LeBron James versus Boston. What if LeBron ends up in the East?
LeBron James. Well, if LeBron's in the East and in the West, then I'm going to go with Thunder making it back.
Okay, Fitty, what about you?
I am going to go with the Thunder out of the West. I think them and the Spurs will battle in the Western Conference Finals. I think it's going to be them. In the East is tough. I might have to go to Knicks just because they bring back the starting five. They got to just re-sign the bench. But I'm going to go with the Knicks and the Thunder.
Okay. Stoy.
I'm a storylines guy, so I think also a Cleveland fan, maybe delirious Cleveland fan. So we're gonna say LeBron comes back home and we get a Cleveland Cavaliers versus LA Lakers final, and Cavs get it done. LeBron come back home and have one little last storyline and championship to go off in the sunset.
I am going to play this for you on repeat when there's no chance of that happening next year, Stoy. Just this clip right here. I'm going to cut this completely out. Just for you. And I'm just going to
Let's hope this video gets a good amount of views, but maybe not too many views.
I'm just going to blast it to you on repeat every day. Like, no chance. But Mike, what about you?
The Cavs better sign someone who has some heart to go play on that soft team of theirs.
Man,
I'll agree with Mr. Story. If LeBron's back, I'll take the Cavs. If not, Boston, and I'll take an underdog team in the West, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
Mike, pick the Celtics. No one that shoots threes like the Celtics and the Cavs are ever going to win an NBA championship. Guys have no heart on that team to go rebound and bang in the post.
They won it 2 years ago, didn't they?
That was whatever.
Okay.
You see what happens when they play physical teams.
Just shut down your logic like instantly on that one.
Give me the 1998 Utah Jazz would whip the Celtics butts up and down the court.
I gotta say, for my 2027, I think we get a rematch. I think we get Spurs Knicks again next year. I think these teams they're gonna stay together. They're just both too hot, and it's just gonna roll over into next year. But with all that being said, that is actually going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast and our NBA Finals preview show. I look forward to seeing what predictions come true. I want to thank all of my guests for coming on, Fitty, Mike, JJ, and Stoy. It's a lot of fun to get to talk the NBA Finals. And as always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast wants to thank you for listening and let everybody know that we do offer monthly subscriptions to help support the show in other ways other than listening and downloading each episode. What you will get with each subscription is you will get bonus episodes that aren't released to everybody. You will also have a chance to ask me anything each and every month where I will put out a special episode just to answer your questions. You will also get more exclusive content that is not released to everybody. To subscribe to the show, go and click on the link in the description of this episode, and I look forward to your added support and to help us keep this show going.